Hi, thanks very much for joining me for another Marketing Monday. Before we get started, I just want to say we're recording this and going live on Valentine's Day. So, for everyone watching, happy Valentine's Day. This industry, the resolution industry, has been one of the great loves of my life for more than a quarter of a century. And I can't believe it's been that long, but it's true. More than 25 years, I've been helping mediators and arbitrators all over the world to design, build, and promote their mediation and arbitration practices. I'm glad that you're watching the video. But today, I want to talk about 5 things that don't work and then 60 things that do. And this comes from a chapter that I helped a client write years and years ago, a great client, fantastic client, one of my favorite human beings, Diana Mercer, wrote a book right there, 8 simple keys to building and growing a successful mediation or arbitration practice. And she used some of the information that we designed for her practice together. And this is one of the chapters that I helped her to write. And so today I want to cover 5 things that don't work for building a successful mediation practice and 60 things that do. Now, not all of these are going to apply to you or your practice or your clients. They're not all going to apply to your particular situation. And so, my best recommendation as we go through this list together is first watch the video and listen to the list. And from time to time, you'll be able to jot down something that really clicks with you, something that you think is really going to work for you, your practice, your clients, etc. And that's fine. And then after you get to the end, go back and re-watch the video and go through the list with me one more time. It's going to go pretty fast. So watch it first, and then on the second run through, maybe take notes, put notes in your phone, however it is that you like to work, type on your keyboard. But this is one of those videos that you're going to want to watch first, listen, and then second, take notes, and then find the actionable tasks for you and your practice and your clients. All right, so having said that, let's cover the negative parts first. 5 things that don't work for building a successful mediation or arbitration practice. And they are: 1, paying for advertising. Advertising for our industry really just doesn't work, right? We rely on publicity, not advertising. So things like banner ads, even if you have an unlimited budget, they generally don't work for us. And the reason, as we've talked before, is because people have to first know about us, second, like us, but third and most importantly, they have to trust us. And advertising for trust is just not going to work. Number 2, again, we've talked about this one, and that is volunteering for far too long, hoping and praying that cases will materialize from those pro bono cases. Again, that just doesn't work for us. Number 3, doing nothing. Get your training, open your office, and then just sit and wait and hope that the telephone rings. That really, really doesn't work. You have to be proactive. Marketing and building a mediation or an arbitration practice is a contact sport. You have to be out there contacting people, contacting potential clients. You can't just wait for the phone to ring. Never works. Number 4, negativity. Not in any way, shape, or form. We can't have it inside our practices. We can't have it inside our minds. We can't have it. We just can't have it. Negativity never works. And 5, relying entirely on word of mouth or referrals. It sounds nice. It sounds lovely. It sounds very noble. But again, that's not the way an entrepreneur would build any business. It's always flattering when I get a referral. I really appreciate the word of mouth. But if I relied entirely on that, I wouldn't have nearly the client list that I do. So that's not your best bet. Now, for the fun parts, here are 60 things that do work. I'm going to go through the list somewhat quickly. And so, like I said, we'll go through the list, and I hope that the first time through, you'll just listen. And maybe something will click, maybe something will resonate with you. And then once this video concludes, go back and re-watch it. And the second time with pen to paper or fingertips to keyboards, your choice, and then pick and choose from the list of 60 those things that you think will be the strongest activities for you to pursue. I don't recommend, you don't need to do all 60. That would be a lot. But, find that list within this list that you think will be most efficient, most effective for your personal practice. All right. So here we go. Number one, if you have staff, you want to make sure that you educate them and make sure that they understand that they're an ambassador, not just of you and your practice, but of our industry as a whole. So really educate them so that they understand who we are, what we do, how we do it, why we do it, for whom, all of the various aspects of your practice. Then next, we want to be sure that we outfit everyone with business cards, either with their own name or with your name. Be sure that they have the opportunity to network on your behalf and give a business card where they think it's appropriate. And then 3, you might think about providing them an incentive for bringing in a case. And this should be something fun, something light, if that's appropriate for your office and your practice. And it's not for everybody. But for some of us, it can be a fun way to engage with our staff. You choose, right? Number 2, and this is really, really important, we want to do something every day. Every day, do something to build your practice, promote your practice, write, speak, train, network, do a video, do something every day that builds your practice. Number 3, if you are convening your cases, you want to really, really hone your convening techniques, your skills, your forms, your intake, all of those processes necessary to convene a case. Make sure that you've really got an SOP down pat for bringing those cases from first call to hearing room, all right? And if you're not the one doing the convening, make sure that you review with the person who is convening the cases on your behalf, that you like the way they do it, that it's appropriate for your clients, that it makes your clients feel good, feel comfortable, feel confident in your services. Convening is kind of a fragile stage, and we can lose clients just by not handling that process well. So really hone your convening skills. Number 4, it shouldn't need to be said, but let's all get the little reminders out of the way. And that is, be polite. Be polite on the phone, be polite in person, be polite. In a world of reality TV, we see more and more examples of poor behavior. And let's, as an industry, rise above that, do better than that, and always, always be polite. Number 5, when Diana and I were writing this chapter, we talked a lot about serving before you sell. And that's this point. Number 5, serve before you sell. And that is that we always want to make sure that the communication that we're having with potential clients in any medium, in person, through an article, through a video, whatever it might be, that we provide something to them of value, something of benefit to them, something that is actionable for them, that is, that's good for them. And that service becomes you promoting, right? So serve before you sell. Selling, again, just doesn't work in our industry. Number 6 is gatekeepers. Some of us will have to deal with gatekeepers. And so when you're talking to the gatekeepers, you really want to be sure that you're establishing that same level of trust, that same level of professionalism with gatekeepers as you would a potential client. For a long time, I had, really lovely people answering my office telephone. And from time to time, when the phone would ring, I would answer it. And it was sadly not unusual for the person to think that because I was the receptionist, they didn't have to be very nice to me. They didn't know that I was the owner of the business. And they would ask to talk to me, and I would say speaking, and then they would quickly change their personality. They would quickly change their tone. And I always thought that, that was a red flag. And I was right. So when you're talking to gatekeepers, remember that they have a lot of impact on clients and their decisions. One of the things I learned quickly was to always ask my front office people, what did they think about this potential client? What did they think about the communication? How did that interaction go? If it went poorly for them, over time, I thought for sure it would go poorly for me as well. And so that was one of the ways that I winnowed out those folks that I just didn't want to work with, honestly. You know, you could be subject to that same kind of process in someone else's office. So always be sure that you're speaking to gatekeepers in an appropriate way. And you might even consider item number 7, and that is writing for a gatekeepers association, organization, or publication. You want to network with gatekeepers. That's number 8. Number 9, let's move a little bit closer to home. And if you are back to work and you're not doing everything on Zoom, you want to be sure that when people come into your office, that your office, although it should represent you in an authentic way, that your office is really client centered. What do your clients need? What makes them feel most comfortable? From the art on the walls to the color of paint to the furniture, the plants, the tissues on the table, the snacks, the coffees, all of those kinds of things. Really think, sit and really focus on what it is they want from your environment and provide it if you can. Number 10, this is about your website. We always want to be sure that people can rely on us as being the hub of information. So on your website, it's a really easy place to have a content generous website, hub of information, etc. That's easy for people to navigate and easy for people to connect with you. So you do want to have a lot of content if that's the kind of site you have, as opposed to, for instance, a microsite, which is essentially just your bio, resume, CV, and a contact page. But if you have a fully fleshed out website, make sure it's got generous content on there. Number 11, I've kind of alluded to this before, but it's worth saying over and over and over, and that is exemplify good manners. So remember that when you are at a function, you're writing, speaking, training, etc., you may very well be the first time that parties or clients have had an interaction with our industry. Be sure that you do right by us. Have good manners. Number 12, we've all been working from home in yoga pants and surf shorts. And if you're going back to work, it may be difficult for you to go back to a business suit, shirt, tie, dresses, etc. But you want to, again, remember that you need to look the part. So you want to look like central casting has hired you to play the role of mediator or arbitrator. You want to look that role. Again, it leads to our credibility and authority, really important things for us to have in our toolbox. Number 13, it's about your budget. You want to keep your operating expenses down, but without being penny wise, pound foolish, right? And this could go for your office overhead, personnel, supplies, anything that's a line item in your budget. Good entrepreneurs, good business people know what they need and how to get it at the best price. Number 14, networking. You want to ask people to lunch, ask people to coffee, ask people to meet with you, ask to interview people. Lots of reasons to ask for a face-to-face meeting, but you do want to ask. Number 15, a little bit old school, but really, really powerful. Write thank you notes. If someone has done something kind or generous or whatever the situation might be, write a note. You can send a text message, you can send an email, you can send a traditional postcard or letter, but be sure that you say thank you. Number 16, if you're getting phone calls while you're busy mediating, be sure that you return those calls promptly or leave an appropriate voicemail message letting people know that you are in mediation and that you're devoting all of your time and energy to those clients at that moment. When that mediation is finished, you will then devote all of your time and energy to getting back to them as quickly as you possibly can. Number 17, we all hope for referrals, and when we get them, we need to be sure that we thank the person who referred business to us in a really meaningful way, and not necessarily a meaningful way to you, but a meaningful way to them. So think about what they like, what they appreciate, and then thank them in that way. Number 18, treat your clients like guests. If you really value them, treat them like royalty. When they come into your office or into your Zoom meeting, make sure that they're comfortable. Make sure that they've got everything that they need. Make sure that they're clear on what's going to happen. Make sure that, they really feel like a guest in your home or in your office or on your Zoom call. Again, Number 19, if you're meeting in person, be sure that you provide them appropriate snacks. Take into account various dietary restrictions or preferences, and beverages, hot and cold beverages. Make your office comfortable. The more comfortable our clients are, the more likely we are to help them get to resolution, a durable and reasonable resolution, right? Number 20, provide good, thorough, accurate follow-up work. So for example, send out a detailed summary letter after your session with maybe interim agreements or whatever the case might require, and a to-do list for in-between session action items. But you want to be thorough and accurate and follow up with people. Number 21, give your clients just a little bit extra without charging them. And you have to figure out what this extra might be depending on your practice and your clients. Clients hate to be nickeled and dimed, don't we all? You want to be sure that you're giving them a little bit something more, right? You cater in lunch, you validate parking, whatever, you don't charge for research or reading briefs, whatever your thing could be to gift them, make sure that they understand that there's no charge, right? Number 22, always do really good advanced preparation work, even if it's on your own dime. Read briefs, reviewing files, whatever it might be sure that you're prepared. You don't want to walk in, not knowing what the situation is going to be. 23, no matter what you send, when you send it, how you send it, you want to proofread carefully. It's one of those things that can be off-putting when clients are relying on us to be detail-oriented individuals. It's a small thing, but it really does put a ding against us. Number 24, you want to exercise some quality control over your office image to outsiders. So if, for example, there are files and documents stacked everywhere, not only what does this say about how on top of your work you are and how you're going to treat their file, but you also might be in violation of confidentiality. So if you've got big banker boxes full of files and you've got the case name on them, and someone can walk by and read that, not good. That's bad form. Number 25, getting down there on the list. Number 25, carry business cards with all of your current contact information with you at all times. You never know when you're going to meet someone. You never know when you're going to have a conversation with someone. You just never know. Always have a current, correct business card with you. Number 26, following up on that point, make sure that you've really refined your elevator speech so that when someone, particularly in the United States, asks that favorite American question, what do? You can, without stuttering and without hesitation, say who you are, what you do, how you do it, and for whom, right? So you want to practice your elevator speech. It shouldn't sound rehearsed. It should sound like natural conversation, but you should have rehearsed it in enough different ways that it just easily flows right off the tongue. Number 27, you want to be easy to work with, right? And this falls in line with the being polite and having good business manners. You want to be easy to work with. We're in the service industry, right? We're not the courts. We're not the default. We can't afford to not be nice. So be easy to work with. Number 28, you want to be pleasant to clients and prospective clients, even when you don't feel like it. And I get it. It's not always easy to do what your mother told you and, mind your manners. And if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. All of those life lessons for us, they can't apply. We have to be nice all the time. When you're finished with the mediation, you get in your car, you call me up, and you can curse and scream and vent and laugh, and we can carry on about it all you want. But in the room, you have to be pleasant to clients. Number 30, again, we want to use publicity and not advertising, right? One is good form, one is bad form. Number 31, think again about your gatekeepers. And you want to volunteer if that's appropriate for you. So it might be that some of your gatekeepers, for example, would be school counselors, in which case you might want to consider volunteering to provide a mediation training or communication training to their school in the form of, peer mediation education, or provide to the local coach a training for the parents of his athletes or her athletes so that they can be better mannered on the sidelines, right? All kinds of things that you can do to create relationships with the people who either could refer you business or hire you for business. Number 32, you want to specialize in one or two fields and market those skills to the target groups rather than generalizing. Being a generalist is really expensive, it's really time consumptive. And in a westernized consumer mind, the cliche, jack of all trades, master of none, we have it as a cliche for a reason, right? We assume that, you do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So maybe how good could you be? But if you specialize, do one thing, do two things, do them really, really well, do them better than the competition can do them, that's the sweet spot. Number 33, develop professional looking information that you can send to people as follow-up. This could be, you meet someone at a networking event and you need to send a follow-up email and you want to send them some really nice PDFs of articles that you've written that are graphically gorgeous, or you have the equivalent of a digital brochure that you can send them. You've got all different kinds of things that you can follow up, a YouTube video, podcast, etc. But be sure that it's professional looking and that you can send it out after you've connected with someone. Number 34, you want to, without being pushy, without being aggressive, you do want to just sort of tirelessly follow up, but always in a tasteful way. But you want to follow up consistently with prospective clients. And the reason is that to maintain your top of mind appeal to them, you need to be saying the right thing at the right time in order for them to engage you. All right. Number 35, do what you say you're going to do and do it promptly. Right. If you said you're going to send it, send it. If you said you'd make the call, make the call. If you said you're going to publish it, publish it. Do what you say you're going to do and then do it. Number 36, you can't let even the gatekeepers, let alone the clients or the parties, ever overhear you being negative or grousing about things. You want to be sure that in that professional workspace, if it's on Zoom, make sure that the room is not just the meeting has ended, but that browser window is completely closed before you make a face or say anything negative. In person, just wait till everybody's gone. You're in the car and you're well onto the auto route, the freeway, or in your driveway before you make a face or say anything negative. You don't want people, pulling out of the parking garage right in front of you, next to you, or behind you while you're making a face or grousing about the day on the cell phone, right? They sense that you're not happy with the situation. Just save it. All right. And, in our industry, number 37, there's just really no room for, and that is any backstabbing. Even if you lose a client, even if you have to refer that person or those people or that entity to another mediator or arbitrator, do the right thing, do the good thing. And if they are complaining to you, oh, well, we had this arbitrator last time or this mediator last time, and they did us dirty or they didn't finish or they whatever it was, you just nod and smile, accept the information, and you don't go along with it. No backstabbing. We want to underscore the value of ADR as an industry and as processes. Even if they don't choose us, we want to make sure that our industry is chosen. Number 38, anticipating your client's concerns and address them in advance, no matter how simple. So for an example, you might have the kind of clients or parties that would appreciate you sending them an email with a map to your office and directions for parking, suggestions for local restaurants or coffee shops, etc. Little things really do matter. Number 39, you want to always confirm appointments via phone or digitally, however you want to choose, but confirm appointments, and then always ask the open-ended question and ask them if they have any last-minute questions or concerns before they join you for a mediation or arbitration. Number 40, think about scheduling a speaking gig. Submit an article, do a training, find a networking opportunity, writing, speaking, networking, training, all of those things, really important. So if you do nothing else on this list today, think about writing, speaking, training, networking, or really boosting your social media presence. Number 41, overpromise, underperform. right? We've heard it before. We know it's right. Keep that one going. Number 42, use and stay up to date with technology. You want to let your clients know that you're ahead of the curve, not behind the times. So using platforms like mediation.com, those are platforms that really let clients know that you are on top of it. You're a professional. You've got this thing going on. Number 43, know when to let a case go. Trust your instincts on choosing not to work with some clients. I know it sounds counterintuitive to building a business, but you will be so much happier. Your practice will be better off. So trust your gut. And some people you just don't need to have as a client. Number 44, let's talk about some money. Be sure that you can accept credit cards. You have a PayPal account. You'll accept post-dated check for payments. Whatever it is that your clients need for you to do so that they can pay you easily, make it happen for them. Number 45, send out evaluation forms and then modify your practice based on the feedback. So you want to send out the form and ask them how well you did. Were did you make them comfortable? Were you well prepared? Did they like your staff? How was the food? How easy was it to find your office? Ask all of those questions, not too many, but ask the questions. And then based on their responses, you may very well want to change something about your interaction, your convening, your actual processes, whatever it is. Pay attention to those things. Number 46. Oh man, this one's really, really important. You need to realize that you are a business person, you're an entrepreneur who specializes in mediation or arbitration, not a mediator or an arbitrator who's trying to build up a practice. And it's not a word game, it's a mindset. Really important to get this and live by it. Number 47, write newsletters. You can use LinkedIn to publish a newsletter. You can publish them off the back end of your website. You can use MailChimp, Constant Contact, etc. There are lots of ways, but having an evergreen asset that you publish in newsletter or article format is really valuable. Don't forget, put it on your website and put it up on your social media accounts. But it allows, when people do social proofing, it allows for them to find that article, and it reinforces, it validates their inclination that you're the right person to hire. Number 48, right now it seems a little strange to say since we're still dealing with COVID, but I promise 2022 is going to be better. Start thinking now about what kind of holiday parties you might be able to host. With your firm, with friends, with colleagues. Think about how you can invite those individuals most likely to hire us into a holiday environment so that they can get to know us better in a networking sort of a way. Number 49, never too early to think about holiday cards. What kinds of cards are you going to send to whom for which holidays? And it takes a lot longer than you might think to make those plans and get those cards ordered and get them all addressed and stamped and sent out. Never too early to think about holiday cards. Number 50, here's one that's a little bit old school, but it still really works. And it is writing a letter to the editor. Now, writing a letter to the editor can be the old-fashioned kind, if you are of a certain age, you will know writing a letter to the editor is something that lets you express an opinion or respond to something that you've seen in their periodical previously. So writing a letter to the editor. Now, in this modern world, you can also go on to chat sites like Quora or Twitter or whatever it might be, or LinkedIn, and start communicating in essentially a letter to the editor format, but on the digital platforms. And so writing those kinds of communications, that's smart. Number 51, ooh, we're almost done. Number 51, there are lots of podcasts that you can connect with and communicate with them what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to know, maybe suggest a guest for their podcast, offer to be a guest for their podcast. Those are all really good. Same for talk radio programs. And then there is a kind of a fun platform called Help a Reporter Out. And that's helpareporterout.com, right? And helpareporter.com, helpareporter.com is kind of fun. You join, it's free, and you click what your expertise is. And then when a journalist writes a story about whatever it might be. If you do personal injury cases or catastrophic brain injury or real estate or, whatever your practice specialty is, they might want an article from you or a quote from you. They might want to interview you. It's kind of fun. Give that one a shot. But podcasts, talk radio, and help a reporter out. Number 52, if you've got something newsworthy, send an old-fashioned press release. So if you've got an announcement to make, if you've got news, a press release, it always works. Be sure your press release, again, goes on your website, goes to your social media. Number 53, you can always provide very specific trainings for your potential and prospective clients. And it could be about anything. You could train them about the verbal judo skills that we use. You could train them about any number of things. But when you're going to put together a training, don't forget to get your training pre-qualified for continuing education credits if they're available for your folks. 54, again, publishing articles. You can publish for yourself, like in a newsletter format, write an article, put it up on your own blog, but you can also be a guest blogger. So if your target markets association, organization, or bloggers, right, are consisting of the folks most likely to hire you, offer to write a guest blog or a guest article for them. Number 55, actively participate on a panel or a committee that is otherwise populated with either your prospective clients or their gatekeepers. Number 56, make your fees as absolutely straightforward and as all-inclusive as possible so that clients are never surprised by a bill. Again, people do not like being nickeled and dimed. Number 57, sometimes when we have people traveling around or they're going to be with us for hours and hours and hours and hours, be sure that you offer those clients use of your office, your library, your office machines, etc. Number 58, it's a little thing, but it really matters, and that is pay for your clients' parking. If you're in a structure or you're in a building or you're in a neighborhood that requires clients to pay for parking and they're worried about, keeping quarters in meters or, getting their tickets validated, just remove that from the equation and validate their parking for them. Number 59 and 60, we're going to end with really, really important points here. And number 59 is read business and marketing books. You're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, read business books, read marketing books. And number 60, attend business and marketing seminars, webinars, YouTube videos, podcasts, etc. Again, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person, and we need to be smart business people and smart entrepreneurs. And that means that we're constantly being kept up to date on what's happening, what technology is available, what trends we've got to worry about and think about. So be a smart business person. So that was number 59 and number 60. And I really appreciate that you have sat with me for 5 things that don't work, 60 things that do. Again, I hope that when you get to the end of this video, you think about all of these options for a moment, go back to the beginning, play it again, take some notes, write down some ideas, and figure out which of these will really resonate with your clients, your staff, your practice, which of these is right for you. Well, that's it for me on Marketing Monday. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything that you'd like for me to talk about in future episodes, be sure you let me know and I will address your concerns, your worries, your goals, your endeavors. All right, that's it for me. Be good humans.